Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you messed up my intro, but that's fine. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make this Baby Yoda design, which was designed by me, and this is it. So, I know that there's a lot of Baby Yodas out there, and you guys are going to say, oh my god, this looks like this person or this person. I know the one I got compared to the most, because I took a poll on my story the other day, is creativity is key, and I talked to her already, and she said it was fine for me to make a tutorial, and I was one of the, like when Baby Yoda was a thing, I posted this design towards the beginning. It's taken me a while to make a tutorial. So yeah, this design is original, and I already talked to creativity is key. And I don't think it really looks like hers, but yeah, I just wanted to make sure. So don't worry, yeah, just getting that out of the way. But yeah, so this is my Baby Yoda design. This is like the final, ooh, what is my camera doing right now? There we go. So this is like the final version. I just made his like stomach a little shorter and fixed the head a bit. And I also gave him pink in his ears because I thought it was cute. So this is the final version, but you can also make it like this with no pink in the ears and just the eyes and the scarf thing, and it still looks cute. So yeah, I'm happy with it. I was like trying to think like how can I make this look more like Yoda, because I wasn't sure if it looked like Yoda, but I think it looks as good as Yoda as Loomigurumi Yoda's gonna get. So yeah, his ears are kind of fun. I forgot to do a band count on this. I've been doing this so much lately. 1 minute. Okay, so I did some math without a calculator, which is always interesting. I'm so bad at math. Oh my god, in the R2D2 tutorial, if you followed that. Luckily, my dyslexia helped me because I said 180 instead of 108, which is what my math did. And then when I went to do the actual band count, it was like 200 and some, and I was like, well, this is why I don't math, but I just did a band count. So for the green, or whatever color you want for the green, it's going to be about 80 bands, and then for whatever color you want for the brown, it's probably, I forgot to count the scarf, so it's probably actually like 200, not 200, like 130 bands probably for like the scarf and everything. So in total, that's like probably like 200, 250-ish, somewhere around there. So he does take a little bit of bands, but I think he's worth it because he's so cute, and I could probably make him smaller, but I don't know if I want to. And I talked really fast there. My brain today. Yeah, but I think that's it. So get whatever color you want for these guys. So for today, I forgot to get my bands out as well. I am quite the mess today. So for today, for my Yoda, I've been saving these colors because I wanted to use it on like the good Yoda. Like the good. I'm making so much sense today. This is gonna be an interesting tutorial. But today for my Yoda, for the robe color, I'm gonna be using peach. And then for the actual Yoda, instead of using this green color, I'm going to use this other green color that to me looks a little more like Yoda maybe. And yeah, so now I think that's it. I'm going to start getting started. So just get everything you need. Of course, you're going to need a hook. Today I'm going to be using a double-ended hook just because I like it, but we only use one end. So yeah. And you're going to want eyes. You can either use beads or bands for eyes. I show how to do the bands for eyes thing in my Loomigurumi basics video, so if you don't know how to do that, it's in that video. But yeah, I think that's it. So like I said, we're going to get started. I closed my notebook that had the instructions. This is going so well already. Okay. So to start, we're going to start with our Yoda color because we started the head, so you're going to want to get whatever color you want for your Yoda. And all we're going to do is we're going to wrap it 3 times around our hook. So 1, 2, and then 3. And then we're going to get another band and we're going to pull it through everything on our hook. Put both ends back on. And then you're going to push, oops. And then you're going to push the back one over the front one. Then you're going to go back into the cap band. You're going to pull a band through just the cap band, so not this last band. You're going to put both ends back on. Then you're going to push the back one over the front one. And then you're going to push the loop left over from last time over as well. Like that. And we're going to do the exact same thing we just did 3 more times. We have 5 loops in total in the cap band. Also, I just wanted to say, this is one of my easier designs, so if you haven't made too many Loomigurumi things and you're like, oh no, what if he's hard? He's actually really easy because the arms where we attach them, it's kind of hidden by the scarf, and the ears is really the only thing that's a little interesting. So if you're a beginner, don't worry. This design is easy. I forgot to say it at the start. I always forget to say the difficulty at the start, but yeah. Anyways, so we're going to want to do that thing we just did 3 more times, so I'll show you again. So we're going to go back into the cat band. We're going to pull the band through just the cat band. Then we're going to put both ends back on our hook. Then we're going to push the back one over the front one. And then we'll push the loop from last time over. We're just going to do that same thing 2 more times. So just the cat band. Then you push the back one over the front one. Then you push the loop from last time over. One more time. So I'll show you how to count in a sec to make sure we have 5. So once you think you have 5 loops, you're going to make sure by counting. So how you count, you go 1. So you always count the one in your hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this across band might look like another loop, but it's not, because you can kind of tell it's going like this way instead of like down, I guess, how like the loops are going right now. But once you've made sure you have 5 loops, instead of going back into the cat band, we're going to go into the first loop we made. And we're going to do the same thing, so we're going to pull a band through just the loop, put both ends back on our hook, push the back one over the front one, and then push the loop from last time over. And now we're going to put a C-clip on this. So now we're going to be doing this this next row, is we're going to be increasing everything, so I'll show you what I mean by that in a second, after I pick up all my bands. Okay. So since we're increasing, basically what that means is we are going to be putting 2 stitches in every loop until we get back to the C-clip. And so this one already has 1 in it, but because we're increasing, we need to go back in and put another one. So we gotta go back in and just make another stitch. Like that. So basically all it increases is you put 2 stitches per loop. So 1, then we go back in, do another one, 2, and that's an increase. So we're just gonna keep doing this until we get back to the C-clip. So 1, 2, and 1, 2, almost there, and we're still just increasing. Once you get to the band that has a C-clip in it, all you're going to do, you're just going to make a stitch like you normally would, and then you'll get the C-clip that's on this band, remove it, and move it up onto this new band. So after that last row, we should have 10 loops. So if you count, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So for the next row, we are going to be increasing every other. So basically it'll be 1 normal stitch and then 1 increase or single stitch. I know everybody else but me calls it a single stitch. I don't know why I'm just in a talkative mood today. Like, it's not good because I'm talking so much in this tutorial already. Yeah, so since we're increasing every other, this one only has 1 in it, which is fine, which is what we're supposed to do. So the next one would be an increase, so we'll put 2 stitches in this loop because it's an increase. Oops. Just pulled my hook out. And then, so we'll put 2 stitches. And then because we're increasing every other, the next one would just be a normal or single stitch. So we just do 1. And then the next one's an increase, so we do 2 in this loop. So 1. And then 2. And then the next loop we'll do 1. And we just keep alternating between doing 1 normal or single stitch and then an increase all the way until we get to the C-clip. But basically what you're doing is you're doing 1 stitch in a loop and then you're doing 2. I keep almost losing track of like if I did a single stitch last or if I did an increase. which isn't good. Okay, and then once again, once you get to the C-clip, all you're going to do is you're going to make a stitch in the band that has a C-clip in it. And then you're going to move the C-clip up onto this loop. So after that last row, you should have 15. So if we count, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yes. Like that. So now it's going to get repetitive for 2 rows because we only do 2 rows of it. So for 2 rows, we're going to be doing 2 rows normal. So we're not increasing or anything. We're just doing 1 stitch in every loop until we get back to C-clip. And like I said, we're doing this for 2 rows. And I'm just picking up bands off camera really quickly. I sorted these out of a mix pack, so now I'm really hoping I have enough because I'm already like getting low on the bands, but I think I have enough to make the Yoda. But yeah. So, like I said, this row we're just doing one row normal, so, well, it's 2 rows in total, but this is one of the rows, so all we're doing is we're just putting 1 stitch in every loop until we get back to C-clip, and after this row, you should still have 15. I'm going to stay on to do probably both the rows, but if you want, you can go off camera. Off camera? You're not the one on camera. You can pause the video and do it and then just come back. So yes. So you're just putting 1 stitch in every loop until you get back to C-clip, and we do this for 2 rows. Yeah, I decided to use this color because I thought it would be like a little more like Yoda is, because I feel like I think it's lime green. I'm not sure what this color is. It's either neon green or lime green. I forget which one it's called. It's a good Yoda color, but like, I don't know. I feel like Yoda's not that color. He's more of like a pastel, like a pastel green. But Rainbowloom, I was thinking about this before I started the tutorial. Rainbowloom actually does not have a pastel green because they have like the pastel mint, but that's not technically green. And then I think they have like a pastel-y like kind of green color, but that's still not pastel green. Because it doesn't look like just a light green, so they need to make her pastel green, that's all I realized. Almost there. Okay, I'll just move this C-clip up. So that was 1 row of normal, or I guess single stitches. It won't move. So after this row, you should still have 15 loops, and if you can count it if you want. I'm not going to count because I'm lazy. Yeah. And we have to just do 1 row, just like we just did, doing 1 stitch in every loop until we get back to the C-clip. And then, this would be 2 rows. So this is the 2nd row. And then we move on to something else. Yeah. So we just need to do 1 more row. You know, I actually watched like the whole Mandalorian series. I loved it. It was so good. I want to rewatch it. Like I love Star Wars. I haven't seen the movies yet, but my dad's like, I've seen all the cartoons like Star Wars Rebels and the Clone Wars, and now the Mandalorian, but I actually haven't seen any of the movies. But my dad, we're gonna start doing a thing on the weekends where we watch like 1 Star Wars movie a weekend, so that's gonna be fun. I love, like, I don't know, I like sci-fi kind of. Star Wars is sci-fi. I was about to be like, is Star Wars sci-fi? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Even when I read books, I notice I read a lot of kind of sci-fi books. I read a lot of books where the like apocalypse is happening, but it's fun. It's like the apocalypse isn't like always like zombie apocalypse. Sometimes it could just be like a crazy group of people and everyone thinks the world's ending, or like random sciencey stuff happens and the world's ending. I don't know. I like books like that, and like shows and stuff like that, I guess. But yeah, The Mandalorian was so good, and I'm not gonna talk about it too much just because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it. So yeah, but it's a good series. Okay, so we just finished that row. I already moved my C-clip up. And if you count after this row, you should still have 15 loops, so I'll count just for the sake of counting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that was 2 rows normal. We just did 2. So after your 2 rows normal, it should look something like this. And now we are going to be decreasing every third loop. And I'll show you how to decrease because we haven't decreased yet in this tutorial. So we're going to be decreasing every third. So this is 1. This is the second loop. So we just do another single stitch. And then on the third loop, we're going to do a decrease. So how we decrease is we're going to grab the front part of the first loop, and then we're going to grab the back part of the next loop, and we'll make a stitch on this. And that's a decrease. And like I said, we're decreasing every third, so 1, 2, and then again on the third one we do a decrease, so we grab the front, or I guess inner part of the first loop, and then the back or outer part of the next loop, and make a stitch. And we just keep doing this until we get back to the C-clip. So 1, 2, and then on the third one we do decrease, and 1, 2, and let me check something because I think our last decrease is on the C-clip. Okay, yeah. So, wait, let me go check something real quick. Okay, I just wasn't sure if we decreased on the last one because I do weird instruction-y things, but so our last decrease is going to be on the band that has a C-clip on it, so all we're going to do is we're going to do the decrease, so we grab the front part of the first loop, the back part of the next loop, and then we'll make a stitch, and then we'll just move the C-clip up onto this band. Like that. So after that last row, we should have 11 loops. So if we count, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So now this next row, we are going to be decreasing every other loop, I believe. Yes. And this is actually our last row with the Yoda color, which is good because I'm almost out. So like I said, we will be decreasing every other. So we just did a decrease, so we do 1 normal or single, and then the next one will be a decrease again, so front part of the first loop, back part of the next loop, and make a stitch. Then we do 1 normal, then we do a decrease. So we're just alternating between doing a normal single stitch and a decrease, and we just keep doing this. 1, then we do a decrease. It's kind of hard for you to see what I'm doing, I know. Then we do 1 normal. Okay, so the decrease is kind of sort of going to land on the C-clip this time, but we don't do it. So I just did 1 normal, and technically the next one would be a decrease, but the next band has a C-clip on it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do a normal stitch or a single stitch on the band that has a C-clip in it and move it up like we normally would so we don't decrease. I hope that wasn't confusing. But after that last row, we should have 8 loops. So if we count, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And like I said, that was the last row with our Yoda color. So now we're going to switch to whatever color you want his robe to be. I had it brown this time. I had it gray. And now he's going to have a peach robe, which I feel like his actual color robe is. So this is kind of like my Yoda. I'm trying to make that looks more actually like Yoda. I also kind of hate the consistency of these peach bands. They're like, I don't know, they just feel, I don't know. They're Rainbowloom bands. They just don't feel nice. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it other than like that. Okay, so now we're going to be increasing everything again. So we'll be doing 2 stitches in every loop until we get back to the C-clip because that's when it increases, and we're increasing everything. But the first thing we're going to do is do a color kind of switch. So the first stitch we do, instead of pulling it through just the loop, we're going to pull it through everything on our hook and then put the back one over the front one. Just so the color switch happens a little cleaner, I guess. And like I said, we're increasing everything, so... Oh wait, I did that. I did that wrong. Not majorly wrong, it's just because like the first loop is an increase. I went to the next loop instead of... Because you're supposed to go back into this one. And then you just do the thing. Yeah, so we're increasing everything, so you want to make sure that there's 2 stitches in that first loop. And then we just keep doing increases all around, so we're just putting 2 stitches in each loop until we get back to C-clip. It's kind of hard to see what I'm doing, so I'm kind of focused. Just gonna increase everything. Oops. It's so hard to see what I'm doing on camera right now. Okay. Just increasing everything. I was off camera. It's because it's so tight right now that I can't really see what I'm doing. Increase. I'm almost there. Okay. Kind of looks funky right here, just because of how we switch colors. But yes. Okay, so once we get, oh my, everything went blurry at some point. But once we get back to the C-clip, all we're gonna do is we're gonna make a stitch on the band that has a C-clip on it, and we are going to move it up. Like that. So now if we count, we should have 16 loops. I almost read that wrong. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. If you don't have 16, where you probably missed it was this first one, the one that had a C-clip on it, the one next to it, there should be an increase in that loop. I almost missed it at the start, so that's what happened. So now this gets a little repetitive for quite a few rows. I'm going to stay on to do probably the first, or yeah, just probably 1 row. So we're going to be doing 5 rows normal or single stitches. So basically after each row you should have 16 loops, and we do it for 5 rows. So it's just putting 1 stitch in every loop until you get back to C-clip for 5 rows. Like I said, I'm going to stay on to do the first row with you, and then I'll go off to do the other 4. So yes, so we're just going to be putting 1 stitch in every loop until we get back to the C-clip. And I'm just going to stay for this first row. Oof. I don't like how these bands feel. I know I said that earlier, but like I'm making stitches with them right now, and it's just, they're weird. They're a weird consistency. And this is, I believe it's called light beige from Rainbowloom. And I've gotten some other bands like this, and they're experimenting with their bands right now, and I do not like it. Because they have kind of like, they just feel like really stretchy, and I don't know if you ever had like the cheap Crazy Loom bands when it first came out. They feel exactly like that. Which isn't bad, but I don't like how they feel. I prefer, like, I don't know. To me, like, the opaque bands usually feel like a little stiffer. But yeah, we're just putting 1 stitch in every loop, and that's kind of why I just went off talking, because it's pretty simple. We're almost there. Okay, so once you get back to the band that has a C-clip in it, all we're going to do is just make a stitch and move it up. And if we count after that last row, we should still have 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so that was 1 row, and like I said, we're going to want to do 5 rows like this in total, so I'm going to go off camera to do 4 more, and you also go do 4 more, and then I'll come back when I have 5 rows in total, and, well, technically 4 after this one, so yeah, just make sure you have 5 rows in total. So this was row 1, do 4 more, yeah. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Okay, so I just finished the 5 rows, so it should look something like this now. Yeah, I made sure I did 5. I'm so worried I miscounted, but I'm positive I did 5. So for this next row, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be decreasing every third, and we already did this earlier with the head, so you kind of know what I'm doing. But yeah, it should look something like this. And also after the 5 rows in total we did, or 4 if you followed the first one with me, which would still be 5 in total, you should still have 16 loops. So if you count around, you should still have 16. But I'm just going to get started with the next row. So like I said, we're decreasing every third, so this would be 1, and then this one's 2. And then once again on the third one we do a decrease, so we got the front part of the first loop, and the back part of the next loop, and we make a stitch, because that's a decrease. And we keep doing this, so 1, oops, 2, and then on the third one we do a decrease, so we'll just keep doing this. So 1, 2, we decrease, and then 1. My ears are, I don't even know what I was gonna say, my mind just went. 2, and decrease. Okay, so once we get back to the C-clip, once again, we'll just make a stitch on the band that has a C-clip in it, and move it up. And now if you count around, you should have 11 loops, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wait, why do I have 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, no. Okay, either I did something wrong or I counted wrong the first time, and I'm never sure which it is. 1, 2, okay, I probably counted wrong when I wrote the pattern down. But yeah, you should have 12 loops, not 11. And now we're gonna stuff him, and I just realized I don't have enough stuffing, so I'm gonna go grab some stuffing real quick. We have cotton balls. I always forget them. Ah. So yeah, now we're just gonna stuff him, and I don't know if I said, but yeah, after the last row you should have 12. I don't know if I also said it really fast, so yeah. But now we're just gonna stuff him. So you can remove your hook. The C-clip should hold it as long as you don't really tug on it, so. I kind of have to push it up into the head. Eep. Here we go. Mom keeps telling me I should put cotton balls in my room because whenever I'm live or like doing tutorials, I always forget cotton balls and I always have to run out mid-tutorial and be like, I forgot the cotton balls. Well, I use cotton balls to stuff my things. I know some of you guys use, like, what is it, polyfill? Which works as well. I don't know, I like how they feel with cotton balls, so I've always used cotton balls. But yes. And then once he's stuffed, you can just put your hook back in. I know with some beginners, some of you guys put your hooks in backwards because my sister's done this. But you can tell the loops are kind of going like this, so you're going to want to put your hook kind of following the way the loop is going, if that makes sense. Yeah. So this row will be decreasing every other. So every other stitch we do is going to be a decrease. And I'm just picking up some peach bands really quickly. So this was 1, so the next one will be a decrease. And then we do 1 stitch normal. Then we do a decrease. We do 1 stitch normal. And then we do a decrease. And we just keep doing this. It's always kind of hard to do it on camera when it starts getting tight like this. Oops. And I just pulled my hook out of everything. What did I do last? Did I do a decrease or a single stitch? I don't remember. Oh, it was a single stitch last, so the next one's a decrease. Okay. And then we'll just move the C-clip up. So after that last row, you should have 8 loops. So if we count, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you have 7 loops, though, it's not that big of a deal. It probably means you accidentally did another decrease, but because we're just closing it up, it won't look bad. So now we're just going to decrease everything until it's closed. So every single stitch we do is going to be a decrease until we can't decrease no more. So to kind of guide you on how many I do, I just did 1 decrease, 2 decreases, 3. I mean, you can take the C-clip out if it starts getting in the way. Mine's getting in the way. This is the third one, third decrease. Just so you know how many times I decrease until I close. I don't know if it's helpful. This is the fourth one, I think. 5. Yeah, so on this one, on the 5th decrease, or I don't remember if it was the 6th, honestly, I'm just going to pull the decrease up on my hook as if I would decrease, and I'm just going to pull a band through everything on my hook, put the back one over the front one, and then pull tight. And then you just hide the tail up in your Yoda. And then pull it in. Like that. And there we go. The first part is done. So now we just have to make a scarf and everything. I don't have much peach left. I hope I have more peach bands. I don't know if this was my last pack. I hope I have another pack. But so I think we're gonna start with the arms first. Yeah, we'll start with the arms. So to do the arms, I'm sure these are the arms. But yeah, so we're gonna start with the arms. So to start, you're gonna want to get whatever color you use for your Yoda for the little hand bit. And then we're just going to wrap a band around our hook 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to pull a band through the cap band, put both ends back on our hook, and then you push the back one over the front one. So this is exactly the same as how we started last time, but we're going to want to put 4 loops in this cap band. So pull a band through just a cap band. Then you push the back one over the front one, and then you push the loop from last time over. Then we go back in and do another stitch until we have 4 stitches in total. Do it again. So now I have 4 stitches, so if I count, I should have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to go into the first loop. And instead of using green, we're going to use whatever color you use for your robe. So you're going to pull it through everything on your hook. And then put the back one over the front one. And then we'll put a C-clip on this one. Like that. And then now we are going to be increasing every other loop. I'm just picking up some peach bands. Okay. So this is 1, so the next one will be an increase. So we do 2 stitches in this one. It's like I said, we're increasing every other loop. Then we do 1. Then we do another increase. And then once we get to the band that has a C-clip in it, also the across band here might look like a loop, but it's not, so just make sure of that. But once you get to the C-clip, you're just going to make a stitch and move it up. And now we're just going to do 1 row around this. So I'm just going to be putting 1 stitch in every loop until we get back to the C-clip. It is really hard for me to see what I'm doing because this is pretty tight. but it's not too bad. Okay. And then once we'll get to the C-clip, once again, we just move it up. Like that. Let me just check something on my other Yoda real quick. Okay, I wasn't sure on something, but now we're just going to decrease, not increase, everything until it's closed. Okay. So like I said, we're just decreasing everything until this is all closed up. And you can take out the C-clip at this point because it kind of gets in the way. So we don't need to mark our rows anymore. So we can just throw it out. We just decrease everything until it's closed. And then once you have the last decrease you can possibly do on your hook, you're just going to pull a band through everything. And then we would attach this to our Yoda. So usually I just pick, I usually don't put this part as the back because you can see there's kind of like a messy color transition here. So I usually just go opposite of that. And then right here, so you can see that this is the first like horizontal band. I'll go into this row right here. And I'll just tie the arm in. Like that. So I'll have the pattern for the arm as well as, you can rewind to do the other one, so yeah, I'm going to go off camera and make the other arm because I feel like I don't have to show it twice, so you can rewind to make it, or I have the pattern for the arm in the description, so I'm just going to go off and make the other arm and come back and show you how to finish him up. Okay, so I just went off camera and finished the other arm, so all you're going to want to do is you're going to go like right across from it. I'm going to put his arm like right here, and we'll just slip knot it in, hide the tail. So, yeah. His arms will look a little weird before the scarf is on. I thought I did it wrong the first time, but no. It's just the scarf kind of holds them down, and then they look better. So, yeah. Okay, I had to go get more bands, but luckily I had another pack. I thought I didn't have another pack of these. Okay. So, we're going to do the scarf next, just because, why not? I don't know. I usually do the face last. So, we're going to do the scarf. So, the scarf is actually really easy in my opinion. So, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to, after I pick up some bands, I should really pick up bands off camera, but I never do it. Okay. So, all we're going to do, we're going to wrap a band around our hook like this. And then we're just going to chain 14 loops onto this one. So we're basically just making a 14 loop single chain. This is not complicated, so that was 2 actually. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oops. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So if we count back, we should have 14 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You don't count the cap band, by the way. I don't think you have a cap band. Yeah. And now what we're going to do is we're going to pull a band through, kind of like we're chaining it on, and then we're going to push the back one over the front one. And then we're going to go back into this same loop, and we're going to make another stitch. And now we're going to go across all of these chains, and we're just going to be making 1 stitch in each. So And we're only going through the top half, so it's kind of hard to see, but it's only the top half of the loop. Yeah, see, so you can kind of tell now. We just keep doing this until we get to the other end. Almost there. It's blurry. There we go. So we just keep going across, just putting one stitch in each of these chains until we get to the other end. And it does take a second to get to each end because it's like 14 things long, but it's fine. Okay, and then once you get to the cap band, you'll just put one stitch in it. And then all we're going to do is we are going to turn, basically. We just turn around and we're going to start doing stitches back in the opposite direction. But now we just put them on the loops that are already kind of there. So this is like, basically, just usually what we do. So we just put one stitch in each of these loops until we get to the other side. Yeah, this really does take a second. But we're almost done. All we have to do is just do the ears and attaching the faces really quick, so we'll be done in a second after this scarf. I really do not like the consistency of these beige bands. I don't know what it is. I just don't like how they feel. This really does take a while. I'm trying to think if there's anything I can talk about. Not really. I do think it's funny though, like, because I filmed like 3 videos this week, and I think it's so weird because I'll literally go like weeks without filming videos, and then I'll film like 3 in a row for 3 days, and there's just no in between with me. But yeah. Then once you get to the other end, on the last loop, you're just going to make a stitch. Then we turn and we go back the other way, and this will be our last time going back, so just turn and we make stitches on all these and go back the other direction. Almost done with this guy though. I'm just picking up more bands because I need more bands. But yeah, so after this video, I filmed a video yesterday, another one of mashing up bracelets. I don't know if you guys probably didn't watch that because you're here for the tutorial, but I honestly am trying to figure out like what videos people like watching, which is kind of hard to do right now. Like I don't know. But yeah, so I filmed another one of those just to see what feedback it gets because it was kind of hard to tell with the first one because it was also a band haul. So I did one alone, like just like a mashing up bracelets video, and that'll be out after this one's out. Probably pretty quickly after this one's out because I'm trying to get the mini heart tutorial up by Monday. If you haven't seen my mini heart design yet, I posted it on Instagram. It's very similar to the star, it's just a heart shape. I'm trying to get it out before Valentine's Day, so we will see how this goes. But I think I'm going to be able to do it. Well, I just wanted to have, like, it'll for sure be up by Valentine's Day. It's just, I want to have it, like, a week before Valentine's Day, which would be Sunday, but Sunday's not going to happen because I'm trying to finish up these Star Wars tutorials first. So I'm aiming for Monday. Hopefully. I'm going to try to get this one up tonight. like this Yoda tutorial. I'm filming it Saturday. I'm gonna try to have it up by tonight, if not tomorrow morning. So we will see. Okay, and then once we get to this last stitch, oh my gosh, I could just pick it up. This last loop that will not let me pick it up. Okay, there we go. We're just gonna make a stitch on it, and then we'll just tie this loop down right here. So, and tie it. So I just tied the end to that last loop, which kind of looks nasty. I don't know why it looks nasty, but it does. And then we'll just get our Yoda. We wrap it around him, and then I usually just tie it here, so it's kind of hard to do, especially because the way I make the scarf, I don't like it being super loose, so I have it kind of tight on him. Just because I didn't like how the scarf looked loose. I did make the scarf a little bigger once, and it was kind of not good. So you can hide the tail on the scarf, but you can also just kind of pull it into Yoda, and that works as well. And then I actually don't really tie the scarf much. I just kind of cross them, and then wherever they cross, I tie it together. So I go through part of the top part of the scarf, and then part of the bottom, and I just tie these two together. However, and then I'll tuck the tail into Yoda somewhere. Luckily Yoda's like a bigger design. Like I know, like with my stars, it's such a pain to tuck all those tails because they're so small. But he's pretty big, so yeah. And then you can do 1 to 2 tying bits depending. Like mine's really flapping open over here, so I'm gonna tie that right there as well. And I don't really tie the scarf to Yoda. After I kind of cross it over him, it kind of just stays like that, as you can see. I'm just tucking the tail in so that way no one can see it. And there we go. Ta-da. See, after you put the scarf on, everything kind of looks better. And if his arms look a little low, I kind of push them up into the scarf, which is a little weird, but it works. Like that. I don't know why the scarf looks so... That, or you could move the arms up if you don't like where they are, but I kind of like where my arms are, so... Okay, so last thing we need to do is ears and his face. And this part is really quick because it's super easy. Okay. I'm just making sure I know what I'm doing. But I do remember, because I never know how to write the patterns down for the ears and stuff, so I kind of have to, like, wing it in tutorials, which is fun, because I have to do it by memory. But I remember what I did. So we're just going to go to pretty much exactly the side of his head. And then I want to pick some spots. So we're going to put 3 stitches in, so I usually kind of try to find a spot that looks like it's lining up. So we'll go here. And then we'll go here. And we're just making stitches. Then I'll do one here. Like that. And then I'll turn. And then we just stitch in these 2 loops. We turn again. We make stitches in these 2 loops. So we already turned once. We're just going to do it one more time. So we turn again and we'll just make stitches in these. And then after we'll turn again, but we'll do a decrease. So we'll pick the decrease up on our hook. And then we pull the band through everything on our hook, put the back one over the front one and pull tight. And that is our first ear. like that. And then how we get the ear to look pointy is what you're going to want to do is you're not going to want to pull the slip knot band in too harshly. You just kind of, like, you don't really tug on it too much because then it'll lose the pointiness. You also kind of have to pinch the ear a little bit. So if you just pinch it, and then just hide the tail if it's still sticking out like mine is. Oop, you can't see. I'm just hiding the tail because it's sticking out a bit. I can't go into any bands right now. There we go. And then we have an ear. And then we just do this exact same thing to the other side of his head. So I'll show you again because that bit's a little confusing. I'm just picking up some more bands. Also glad this is almost done because I am really hungry for whatever reason. Even though I ate breakfast, I'm just hungry right now. Okay, so we're gonna go into the other side of his head. And once again, you're gonna wanna find, I usually just try to go pretty equally because you don't want your ears to be a little lopsided. So try to go exactly same spot on the other side. So I'm gonna go like right here. And once again, we just stitched 3 into the head, so it's just trying to go in a good area. So once you stitch 3 in the head, you can kind of tell where the ear is going to be, and if you're happy with it or not. If you're happy with where it is, then you're going to turn, and then we'll just do stitches in these loops. There's 2, so should only be 2 stitches. So this first stitch is not cooperating. So that's 1, and this next one is 2. There's only 2 stitches you do. Then we turn again, and we go back and do stitches in these. And then we turn one more time, and we make stitches in these 2 loops again. And then we're going to decrease 1, so we'll pick up the decrease on our hook. And then we'll pull the band through everything on our hook. Put the back one over the front one and pull tight. And then we just hide the tail down to the ear. Like that. Just make sure it's not sticking out. But like I said before, you don't want to pull it in too much because you usually have to go back and kind of loosen it a little bit so it points. And just pinch it, and usually the ear will point. Like that. And ta-da! He has ears. Okay, so now all we have to do is the face, and the face is really easy. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get 2 bands for the nose. You're going to wrap them around your hook 4 times, I think. Wait, is that even... I can't tell if it's 2 bands or not. Yeah, I think it's 2 bands. So I think we wrap them around... Actually, I think we only do... I can't believe I don't remember how we do the nose. Okay, we wrap them around 4 times. And then you're just going to take 1 band and pull it through everything on your hook. Yeah. And then you'll go right in the middle of his face. So right here, I think. No, right here. I think it would have been too low. And then we just tie it in. Honestly, I don't know if Yoda has a nose. His face just felt naked, so I gave him a nose. But I honestly don't know if he has one. And then all we're going to do is tie the eyes on either side of the nose. So you want to get your eyes. I'm going to tie one here. Oh my god, he looks so cute. It's one eye. Then go to the other side of the nose and do the other eye. I'm just tying them in, so sorry if I go off camera, but I usually just go on either side of the nose, and it's usually the stitch right next to the nose, and that's usually where I tie the eyes. Because you don't want them to be too spaced out. I mean, if you want them to be spaced out, that's cool, but I like mine, like, right there. Okay, his whole face is kind of crooked to this way, but that's probably just because I didn't find the center very well. It's just really hard for me to attach on camera, but he still looks cute. So if you want to do the pink in the ears, I'm going to show you how to do that now. So you're going to want to get some pink bands. I'm grabbing some pink bands right now because I kind of forgot to grab some. So you're going to want to get some pink bands. I'm going to use baby pink because I think it would look cute. And all I do is I go into the ear, usually the bottom right here, and I make a stitch. And then I'll just go up the ear, making a couple stitches. I usually only do 3, so this is 2. Actually, I only do 2 stitches, so I do 1 at the bottom and then I do 1 in the middle, and then I usually just tie the other end into it, so you tie it. And then he'll have pink in his ear if you want him to have pink in his ear, which I think is kind of cute. And of course you gotta hide this tail again, so that's kind of the bad thing. If you do the pink in the ears, you kind of have to hide another tail in his ear, which isn't that easy because his ears are kind of skinny. You have to repoint the ear because mine kind of went flat. There we go. There's 1 pink. I'll show you how to do that again in case it was a little confusing. It's not tucking right, but that's a different problem. So I usually just stitch 1 at the bottom of his ear here. I'll just stitch 1 in. And then I'll go somewhere like mid-ear. Right here. And I'll make another stitch. And then I just tie it in at the top here. Oops. And then you hide the tail. It's really hard to do for whatever reason. Okay. Tail hiding in the ear is really hard. Also, I'm really close to my phone right now, so sorry if I suddenly got louder. Okay. And there he'll have pink in his ears. This one kind of turned out better than this one, but that was more just hard to tuck on camera problems. But yeah, so if you're into pink in his ear, you can do that. And then if you want to give him cheeks like this guy, I'll show you how to do it, just in case you don't know how, or you haven't seen me do it before. But you just go into a spot right by the eye, or right under the eye. So I'm going to go like right here. And you get a band, and you just make a stitch, but you do it loose so you don't pull it tight. And then you just hide the tail in, and it gives him cheeks. If you want him to have cheeks, I kind of like this one without cheeks, so I'm probably going to remove these when I go off camera. Also because his cheeks are crooked. But you get the idea. So I hope your Yoda turned out okay. I wasn't sure about his sideways looking face, but I kind of like it now, so we will probably leave that. But I hope your Yoda turned out okay, and if you make any of these Yoda designs, definitely show me on Instagram, tag me. I love seeing everything you make, even though I kind of get behind on when people make things, but that's another problem. I see everything you make, I just sometimes forget to put them on my story, so yeah. But subscribe if you want to see more tutorials from me. I'm probably going to have another tutorial out, I'm hoping Monday or Tuesday, for the mini heart. And then, yeah. I hope you already turned out okay, and yeah, I think that's it, so bye.